I'm Justice Evan Young of the Texas Supreme Court. I want to tell you a little bit about why I even wanted to be a judge. One of the most important reasons for me was seeing what life would be like in places where the rule of law goes missing. I spent nearly a year in Iraq during the surge, and my job was to work with the Iraqi courts and prisons to help them become more and more committed to fairness, equality, and to following the law. The first full day I spent in Baghdad, I met a judge whose house had been firebombed not long before I arrived. And why? Because he ruled honestly. He had refused to release terrorists who had been captured. Thankfully, he and his family were not at home when it happened, but many other judges were not so lucky. So the American government built a place in the green zone of Baghdad to securely house many Iraqi judges. One of the judges I got to spend a lot of time with every single week was the Chief Justice of Iraq, a wonderful man whose only agenda was to bring the blessings of the rule of law to his people. He was fearless in following the law. I would often see him walking in the green zone, hand in hand with a little boy, his grandson. But only those two generations, grandfather, grandson, and that's because the year before I got to Baghdad, the Chief Justice's only son was captured by a terrorist cell. He was tortured and murdered, and his body was dumped in the street, all to intimidate and punish the Chief Justice, who of course was heartbroken and devastated. Who wouldn't be? For any parent, just the thought of losing a child, especially in such a violent way, would make one shiver. And add to that the thought of having a child die because of oneself, because of who we were, it would be almost unbearable. But the Chief Justice, despite all of that, did not give up, and he did not give in. He continued to fight for his country. He wanted to make Iraq a place where every single person would be treated equally and fairly, where disputes in court would be resolved based upon what you do and what others do to you, not based on what tribe you're from or how powerful your family is, or which religious sect you're from, or which political party you support. Seeing Iraq made me realize, in a way I never had before, just how precious our freedom, our law, our system of justice, our commitment to the rule of law truly is in America and in Texas. My time in Iraq taught me that we can never take for granted that the rule of law will be there for the next generation just because the last generation passed it on to us. Freedom is worth the effort. I'm happy to serve on the Supreme Court because it's one way that I can do my best to make sure that our courts are playing their part in keeping Texas strong and free and helping Texas to continue to be the greatest place on earth to live.